So this is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and this book, Jewish Astrology, written by Reb Yaakov Kronenberg. And some of his things, he hasn't been really active in a last few years. I mean, I met him at a certain point in his life, and I was very, very lucky to, and blessed actually, I guess is the right word to say, to have had that contact with him. So I worked in this book, and I've seen some things in it that are really absolutely fantastic. Some places are pure genius over here. Hard work. So let's read and see a little bit more about what Reb Yaakov has been talking about before he talked about the 7 layers of the earth or the concept of the 7 climates. So this number 7's got a lot of play in Torah. Everybody knows that the 7 days of every week. 7 years makes a Shemitah, and 7 times 7 is 49. Well, there's all different kinds of combinations of these 7s. These are the 7 lower spheres of Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchus. All different kinds of combinations. So now he writes like this. My teacher, Rabbi Mordechai Sharabi, the Rosh Hashiva in Nahar Sholem. Nahar Sholem means the river of peace, which is a Kabbalah yeshiva. He says, explained a saying for the Zohar that one should not learn Kabbalah before the age of 40. A lot of people say this. That means that up to 40, one should learn the basic models, and after 40, when one thinks more seriously and has self-control, and actually, it's difficult in the early part of your life, when you're trying to make a living and get things going with the family, it's very difficult to have time for the esoteric subjects. But some people have to. So he said, when one thinks more seriously and has self-control and understanding, he can then get a bit of a glimpse about what these models mean and why they exist. But we should note that many of the best Kabbalists did not live past the age of 40, so obviously they must have been learning before that. So many must have started at an early age. Energies are coming down to earth and affect each area as it reaches it. The horoscope or chart of Adam, the first man, has 12 houses, and each house rules a different area of life, and each house is ruled by a specific planet. Jupiter was the planet of wisdom. It's in the horoscope of the first man, Adam Arishon, and Jupiter is found in the 9th house and the 12th house. Now, we'll get into that later, but in astrology, you have houses. So let's see what else he has to say. He says the 12th house is the house of suffering, and the 9th house, so if we get this right, is the house of higher knowledge. Knowledge that comes from above. The knowledge you get from your teachers who got it from their teachers and so on until they got it from God. There are 2 types of wisdom. The one is that which is passed down from generation to generation, which is of the 9th house, and there is wisdom from suffering, which is passed down through the 12th house. Unfortunately, people often learn the most from their suffering. When things go well, people don't learn as much as they learn from when they suffer. And even Ram Hamnuna learned about his mistakes after suffering. And today, too, due to the Holocaust, there was a great loss in our teachers of wisdom who perished en masse. And our line of tradition was severely compromised due to the break between the generations. And this may be the reason you see today so many people searching all over the world for wisdom. Certainly, my generation went searching all over the world. Perhaps people grew up in America, for example, and saw that things were meaningless and desolate of the wisdom. So knowledge can be passed down from generation to generation, just like Avraham Avinu passed it down to his son Yitzchak, who passed it down to Yaakov, who just like Avraham Avinu, passed it down to his son Yitzchak, who passed it on to Jacob, who passed it on to his 12 sons, who passed it on to Moses, all the way down. But knowledge can also be received by the efforts of the individual himself, through a tremendous amount of learning. But so much got lost in our past generation in the Holocaust, it's a miracle that anything is left. Now that's an interesting thought, because I think that this is one of the ideas, or an idea, that really permeates what Reb Yaakov is trying to do. He says astrology is a 2-way street. 2 people are born in the same minute and place and can receive those forces differently. For example, I do charts over the internet for clients, and often they are what I call blind horoscopes, where I know little or nothing about the client. So I don't know what they're doing with the energy they receive. Now, that's an interesting idea because he said it yesterday in a different way. We're all receiving these energies. The question is what are we doing with them? Are we aware of them? How are you using the energies you receive? A person is not influenced only by the stars or by the land he grew up in, but also by his environment and belief system and beyond and background. A person who grew up in a rich family is more likely to be a rich man than a person who didn't, though they may have been born in the same place at the same time. And there are also differences between the ways people receive energies that come to them. People are influenced to a higher degree by their schooling, by their religious education, or their secular influence, etc. If two women both have great chart for children, so they're going to have children, to the religious one, I can tell her she can have 7 kids. And the one with the secular background, I would say it differently. Something like she could have as many kids as she wants. But it doesn't mean she will have lots of kids. She could change her mazel by free choice and have few children. So the Zohar is trying to tell us what? It's trying to tell us that over and above the energies that come down to us from heaven, so are there energies and influences that influence us right here on earth. And it comes down to how people take both these energies and use them. How to properly receive the light. People are different and are influenced differently. My wife's parents were born in Persia, while she was born in Israel. So there are different mentalities there, which means it's not just what is coming down, but involves working out how to properly perceive that light and improve ourselves and use it properly. A person could change his mazel, his planetary influences, and improve his life. But it's not so easy to change ourselves. The way we act, feel, and think. But we can learn how to improve our destinies, how to use energies and lights that come to us in a better way. Yet, you have to know also that in the system of the Rizal, now we study a lot of the Rizal over here at the Tikkun Elevator Kola. There is the laws of the Igulim. What are the Igulim? The Igulim are the circles. And remember that we said before that we're talking about the construct of the universe that we know that is the universe called Asiya. It's a world of circles and balls. It's a work of wheels. And the laws of Yosher, which is also another concept, which is the concept of straight lines. So in Kabbalah there are circles and straight lines. Circles represent the world of nature, and it's the world that is run by the different forces of nature, elements, and planetary systems. So this has a great deal to do with astrology, because once again, the circles, the earth is a ball. And we're moving through a system of other circles. Circles and circles and circles. Now the Yosher system, which is straight lines, is the Torah and Kabbalah system. So if you learn the Uri, you're always talking about the line. So he says a system of divine intervention separate from the laws of the Igulim. So in other words, there are 2 concepts. Again, the Uri deals really only with the line. Astrology deals with the balls. There is plenty of light coming down, but not every vessel can receive all of it. So you have to make yourself a vessel which is able to receive the light properly. This is Baruch Fleischman reading the words of Reb Yaakov Kronenberg, Jewish astrologer. This is Jewish astrology, a cosmic science, learning that here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel.